pleased to have a moment to sit down with David Axson, who's speaking tomorrow morning. And David, in fact, has a new book out, coming out next spring, The Management Myth Buster. I understand you're going to be talking about some of these myths tomorrow. What are some of these myths?
You know, it's pretty interesting, Jack. What we've seen over the last 2 years is a lot of CEOs and CFOs start to question many of the management practices that they've relied upon for close to half a century. You know, who predicted, if you sat down and built your budget in the tail end of 2007, and say the price of a barrel of oil is important to the business and the performance of your organization, if you sat down and drawn a graph that showed oil prices going from $45 a barrel to $145 a barrel, back down to $35 a barrel, and then back up to $70 a barrel in 18 months, and you walked into your boss's office and said, here's what I think is going to happen to oil prices, who would have believed you? They'd have probably had the men in white suits coming to cart you off to the lunatic asylum. We're dealing with a world today where fact is stranger than fiction. Volatility, uncertainty. You know, I've had the great pleasure this year of giving speeches in 32 different countries around the world. When I started my tour in March in Warsaw, no one had heard of the H1N1 virus. 4 weeks later, I was not allowed to get off the plane in Shanghai until I'd had my photograph taken and my temperature taken in my seat on the airplane. We had a little virus in northern Mexico become a global pandemic that had an impact on global trade, global economics, and global business forecasts within the space of 4 to 6 weeks. Now, in that world, where we have that type of extraordinary event happening on a recurring basis, how smart is it to build a very detailed budget that looks 12 months into the future? How about just doing a forecast once a quarter? The world changes about every 6 minutes, it seems, at the moment. And so a lot of CEOs and CFOs are beginning to sit there and say, how do we get a better handle on this? Because this is the reality of the world we're now having to operate in. We're globally connected. A small stone creates ripples across the globe today. And we need a new set of management practices that really allow us to begin to adjust to the real-time flow of business. You know, with annual budgets, 5-year strategies, quarterly forecasts, and monthly reports, we're managing real-time businesses in batch mode. That's one of the biggest myths that's out there at the moment, is that we have control. We don't have control. We have to react to the events as they are presented to us. And the companies that are able to react are those that are best able to accommodate uncertainty and volatility, maybe have given some thought to it in advance. How do we change our behavior if the future doesn't turn out as we expect? And that's what's determining the winners from the losers as we begin to see economies start to grow again.